Hello YouTube, it's Birdo Prey 5 and welcome to Bed Life for April 12th, 2019.
Yep.
And we've got three shows to live review tonight. I did my best. I tried to get out a first reaction, full review perhaps, of Star Trek Discovery episode 13, Such Sweet Sorrow, but it was such a sweet mess. I could not find the words in the merely, I don't know, 20 hours or so I've had since I watched it to actually organize it. I've determined it is in fact some type of fractal pattern of poop, and by what I mean is that any segment you take, it's poop. I'm using the nice words tonight. You could take a 2-minute segment, or you could take 20 minutes, or you could take the full 48 minutes, and it all looks the same. It's all brown and smelly and bad. I'll get into some of the details once we get a little further in. So Star Trek Discovery, awful mess. The Twilight Zone, episode 3 of season 1 of Twilight Zone 2019 replay, actually noticeably better than last week. That said, still an awful episode. Oh, there's just no way. CBS All Access series, they can't do it. They can't do it no matter how close they get. They can't do it. They can't make a decent episode of anything, apparently. Lo and behold, we did have an episode of the Orville to save me from total depression. Because the Orville, which is episode 12, I believe, episode 12 of 14 episodes this season, the Orville Sanctuary was a very, very good episode. Now that said, from this point out, there will be spoilers ahead. So if you're not here yet, I'm sorry, but if you're watching this on replay and don't want to hear spoilers, then I would just wait. I will call out which one I'm going to talk about first, and maybe you can skip it if you're interested in listening to it. I don't know. But yeah, there might be spoilers. There will be spoilers. Anyway, to the chat. DJ Odyssey, about a half hour before I started the chat, before I started the video, said he was first. And then he said, well, at least you got a hot chick for the thumbnail today. Go, Rebecca. Yes, number one, one of the few highlights of this episode. Yes, she was the best part to put on the thumbnail. And then, of course, I also threw in the eyeball for the Twilight Zone and the Orville for the Orville, obviously. And then at 6:22, right after I started streaming, DJ Odyssey says, about time. And he also said, hail Mama Bird, hail Bird of Prey, hail DJ. Hello. And Mom says hello as well. Now we should not be worried Thomas Potts did tell us he was going to be traveling today, so he was not going to make my stream or Anti-Trekker stream earlier today. And since he didn't, I hope he makes it wherever he was going without issue. John DeMarco says greetings. Welcome, John. Mark Andy. Hello. I came here because I was told I could see a badly singing mob boss or perhaps a pink bunny. These words perplex me. I seek clarity. Mark Andy, welcome to the stream. Yes. Well, you could see a pink bunny. To be clear, DJ Odyssey, who is in the chat, is the pink bunny. So you may want to subscribe to him if you're interested in pink bunnies. That said, occasionally I do play this video. Yeah, that's a short clip, but DJ Odyssey does occasionally show up on this stream when I need a minute or two to attend to a private matter. So yes, you can see him. As for the bad singing, well, that's just mean. No, it's not. I fully attest I am not a good singer. Nevertheless, I do sing. Tonight, I actually do not have any songs queued up, thankfully, because there's going to be plenty to talk about with the TV shows. But other nights, I'd say probably at least once a week, maybe more, I do sing. If you look at past Bed Lives, especially the Bed Life from April 10th, 2 days ago, there were 3 songs in that, and I usually put an index in as the pinned comment, so it's usually pretty easy to find where I sang. Huh? Oh, right. And of course, the mob boss is just fiction. I kind of just ignore it at this point, but there is no such thing as the mafia. So, how could one be a mob boss without a mob? I am just an independent contractor who, I'm a problem solver for hire, basically. And that's it. I have my customers, and they enjoy the work I do for them. That's it. And I have people I call up when I have jobs I need done. It's how the economy works. It's capitalism in its purest form. We're Americans, damn it. Josh Street says, "How's your day going, Birdfather? On the day of one of your daughter's weddings?" Josh Street, I have no kids, so no daughter to wed, meaning that there will never be a day of my daughter's wedding. So I don't have to do favors for anyone, ever. John DeMarco says, the Orville episode was amazing. It was very good, John. I've come to expect a lot from the Orville. It's why I'm wearing this Seth Track shirt. Maybe I can fix it a little. Yes. The Orville has been consistently good now for 2 full seasons. There's been no bad episodes of the Orville. There's been a couple of... I hesitate to even say so-so, because, I mean, compared to Discovery, they were a lot better than so-so. But, I mean, compared to other Orville episodes, they were so-so. But I gotta say, in general, of what has there been now? 12 and 12 last season, so 24 Orville episodes out so far. 20 of them I would watch and rewatch, and to be honest, I do rewatch. I rewatch Orville episodes all the time. I don't get tired of them. It's like original Star Trek. It's like Star Trek The Next Generation. It's like Deep Space Nine. Those episodes I could watch and rewatch, and I never get tired of them. And the Orville is right up there with them. Discovery, oh my God, it is a chore. It's a chore to watch. You don't want to watch Discovery. It's a job, right? The Orville is recreation. The Star Trek Discovery is a job to get through. I don't know how else to put it. That said, Sanctuary, I would say it was a very good episode. I don't know, I'd call it amazing personally. I like the Dolly Parton song. In fact, what was it? Just 2 days ago, I sang that very song. I was asked to sing 9 to 5. Now, I wonder, well, I think it was John Araki who asked me to sing it. John, did you have knowledge that song was going to be in this episode of the Orville? Because honestly, I wasn't looking for any clues. I had no idea it was going to be in the episode until I saw it. I was like, hey, I know that song. I sang that song yesterday. So yeah, that was a big surprise. I know. Oh, okay, right. Yes, people, if you, thank you, Mom. If you have not done so, change over from top chat to live chat so you don't miss the chats. Yeah, so you don't miss the chats. DJ Odyssey says, well, Mark, you may sing a singing mob boss, but he hides the pink bunny away. And Josh says hi to the pink bunny. And then I minimize everything on my computer with one errant mouse gesture. You gotta love technology. There we go. Darth Kilhoun says, ha. DJ says, I thought that eyeball was from Anti-Tracker this morning. Yeah, Anti-Tracker. Or I was really last night. He looked like he might explode. He was getting upset, and man, if he thought the first half of the episode was bad, just wait, Anti-Tracker, if you're here. It's not going to be good. DJ Odyssey is hailing Darth Calhoun. Sci-Fi Guy, welcome, Sci-Fi Guy. Daniel's Hot Topics says, Daniel. 6 like Bird of Prey 5. I'm at Best Buy watching you now. Thank you, Daniel. You know, go ahead and set all those Best Buy computers to my channel, please. They will thank you. The store will sell a hell of a lot more computers once people know they can watch me on the computer. And the people are saying hello to everybody, which is great. Everybody's nice and friendly. Mark Andy says, truly horrific. I assume we're talking about Discovery. DJ NSC says, truly horrific, yet they still play it. John Street says, Darth Calhoun, what is on tonight's stream? Hearts of Iron 4 or another game? Good question. Mark Andy says, are you in sanitation? Mark, I'm in whatever pays me the money. I've done work for private sanitation, of course. It's a legitimate business. DJ Odyssey says, and he's wearing his rainbow STD shirt again. No! This is rainbow Orville shirt. Seth Trek. Okay? And it's only rainbows, the colors of their uniforms. And like I've said, I don't mind rainbows, okay? Rainbows are not only about gay pride. Okay, you can like rainbows and it not be a gay pride statement. Speaking of gay pride, my favorite scene from Star Trek Discovery. Oh, well, let me see. Can I bring it up? I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it for my full review. But for those who haven't seen it, when they're all writing letters to home because they think they're gonna die or go to the future and never come back, whatever, and Stamets is writing a letter to his best friend, who seems like maybe it's his sister or brother, and he says, "You could always translate mom and dad for me." And he says, and still to this day, I don't know, I don't understand half the things Dad was talking about. First I thought, it's because Dad's talking about women, Stamets. That's why you don't understand it. That's what you don't get. That's the problem. But fine, nobody's going to translate that for you. You don't need a translator anymore. You're an adult. You can live your life as you see fit. And it's too bad Culber got a new body and became straight, but you'll find someone, I guess. Maybe Jet Reno will get an operation, and then you guys can move in together. Darth Calhoun says to Josh Street, "I don't know. I think the USA is over." Of course, he means in his game. Daniel's Hot Topic says number 1 is hot indeed. Not Ryan Johnson says hello and Qapla. Hello and Qapla. Not Ryan Johnson. Mark Andy says no kids you know about. Yeah, that technically is true. Technically true is the best type of true. Josh Street says, and if Bird's customers don't pay, they end up in the Hudson River concrete shoes. Nobody doesn't pay. That's the great thing. DJ Odyssey says most in here are kids to me, lol. Alex Lethes, welcome Alex, says hi Bird of Prey. I too have just seen the latest Orville. It was indeed awesome. Love a good dolly fight. Mark Andy says, do you think there is a sister ship, the Wilbur? Actually, that would be pretty cool. I hope there is. In fact, I believe we saw another similar sized ship at the Mocklin Starbase getting its weapons upgraded. Because I think the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, there's the Orville. And then they kept going. I was like, oh, no, there's the Orville. DJ Odyssey says, move your head, Bird. You're blocking Rebecca. That's the best I can do, DJ. You can look at the thumbnail later if you really need. Alex Lethes is saying hello. Daniel's Hot Topics is saying, oh my god. Bird of Prey 5. Did you see Star Wars Episode 9? It was great. If you mean the trailer for Star Wars Episode 9, I did see it. I'll be honest. I am not the biggest Star Wars fan. I never pretended to be. And there is nothing about that trailer that even remotely interests me in Episode 9. I don't understand how Palpatine. I don't understand how that guy's alive. I don't. I mean, if the bad guys can come back from the dead, then why not bring back Vader? Okay? He's the best guy to bring back. Why would you bring back Palpatine? I don't even know his name. Okay? All I know is that if there's no Darth Vader, it's not Star Wars. If there's no Luke Skywalker, it's not Star Wars. That's my feeling. I'm happy you're happy though, Daniel. I really am. It's just Star Wars. Star Wars doesn't do it for me. Josh Street says, we only watch Anti-Trekker STD to see Anti-Trekker suffering. DJ says, yeah, tomorrow we'll need popcorn to watch Anti-Trekker finish STD. John DeMarco says, we should hire Bird to employ his professional problem solving to make Discovery disappear. Oh, that would be a big job, John DeMarco. There'd be a lot of loose ends that would need to be buried somewhere. It's not as cheap as you might imagine to get a good hole dug these days. There's environmental impact statements and a lot of red tape. Very expensive to make something like that happen. But if you got the money, you give me a message. Mark Andy says, do you think cosplayers will go to Dollywood to pay homage? Now that you mention it, yes. Did I think about it before? No. I did. I forgot Dollywood was even a place. DJ Odyssey says to John DeMarco, no, he won't. He's getting the sweet CBS money. Now, that CBS money was a one-time deal. Alex Lethe says, Episode 9 trailer looked like typical Jar Jar Abrams dross. Explosions and flash grenades and no substance. And DJ Odyssey says, no, Anti-Trekker isn't here as of this second. Okay, as long as he admits it's a rainbow. It's a rainbow. Okay, I'm not going to say it's not a rainbow. I mean, I don't think it's not in the rainbow order. It's not Roy G. Biv, right? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Because I can see the green at the bottom. Right? So it's certainly not Roy G. Biv rainbow, but it's rainbow. Josh says, Bird loves the taste of rainbow. Speaking of gay no, TJ. Is that what you put up? Is that the comment you put up? I got the notification that a comment, a quote was added to the thread. Mark Andy says, rainbows are all about the covenant of no drowning no more. Well, you know, speaking of that covenant, a hell of a lot of people continue to drown in floods. DJ Odyssey says, throw Skittles into someone's face and yell, taste the effing rainbow. Mark Andy says, Culver is straight now? Wow, I'm out of the loop. Well, Mark, I'm going to be honest. They haven't come out and said it, but in my head canon, he is. And he said the way, like, he was trying to explain things to Stamets, it's like he doesn't know what he feels and all this stuff. It made me really think that he was trying to say that, hey, I'm not into you anymore, and it's not that I'm just not into you, I'm not into men anymore. And you're like, well, why would that happen? And you have to understand, now I'm not saying that it's physical, that it's a defect, but they did say he had a brand new body, that it was regenerated from his original DNA, And like the scars that he previously had, they were all gone. So, if you think about the possibility that homosexuality comes on, now you would think if it was genetic that by now we would have found the gay gene. Okay? So, that said, I do fully believe it is biological. I believe people are pretty much born that way, more or less. I say that because as someone who was born straight, I can tell you that there is no way I could ever choose to not be straight. I mean, that would not be something I would choose to do, no matter how much attention I might want, no matter how bad my life got, no matter what. That just is not a choice that I would ever choose to make. So when I see men doing those things to other men, I have to assume they were born very differently than I was in the head. Okay? Or however you want to call it. So I totally believe people were born that way. So if they're born that way, and if it's not genetic, then it's something that happens maybe in the womb or maybe early in life. I don't know. So if you then regenerate somebody based on their DNA, and they're a pristine copy of exactly what their DNA said them to be, and it's not genetic, then I think there's no choice. They'd have to be straight after undergoing such a regenesis. So to me, it makes sense. Now, I will grant you, Star Trek Discovery writers absolutely do not think like that. But until it's proven otherwise to me, I'm saying he's straight, and that's why he didn't want to be with Stamets anymore. And in fact, that's why he just wants to get off the ship to where nobody expects him to be gay, and he's going to try out the straight life. And maybe we'll see him in the end of the series or something, and he's got a wife and a kid or something. I don't know. Now, I know the fans would be... the fans are already pissed at Star Trek Discovery. The real fans could not care less about his sexuality. That said, the vocal minority of SJW trolls that have tried to co-opt the fandom and have decided that homosexuality is something that needs more representation in Star Trek, and they actually got angry when his character died in the first season, because how dare you kill off a gay minority man. That was literally what they were saying, that they actually got them to write him back in. And I have to say, he was so terribly written back in, it was clear he was not planned to come back in any way, shape, or form. He was supposed to stay dead. But the pressure mounted, so they brought him back. But I'm guessing, even though they brought him back for season 2, they don't want him for season 3. Whether it's politics, whether he doesn't get along with people on the set, or whether they just don't have the money to keep the cast that big and he was on the short list to be let go, whatever it is, I really think this is it for him. He's done. He's not coming back for season 3. Now, I don't think they will ever address it in the show that he's straight, but I think that's what they were going for, perhaps, maybe, on some level, that he was straight, and that's why he didn't want to stay with Stamets. And Josh Street says, Sunday we get a great show from HBO that will drown out the STD. Yes, Game of Thrones, I cannot wait. Oh, it's gonna change my whole schedule up. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know if if I'm going to do any type of review, I'll probably just do a live discussion of it the next days on Mondays. Talk about it with those who want to talk about it, because I gotta say, despite what I know in my own life, there doesn't seem to be a hell of a lot of Game of Thrones fans that go on my streams. It seems pretty split. Josh Street says, wasn't that at the end of episode 9 teaser part of the Death Star 2? That's what Doomcock says. Honestly, I couldn't tell what the hell it was. Whether it was part of the original Death Star, the second Death Star, something else, just some big ship. Was it some type of ski jump? I couldn't tell what the hell it was. But people who are more interested in Star Wars than me seem to believe it is part of a Death Star. And Joshua says, and if it didn't in Endor have oceans or long bodies of water? Again, Josh Reed, I'm not the person to ask. The only thing I know Endor had was forests, or at least a forest moon. And DJ Odyssey says, it's pronounced Palpatine. Thank you, DJ Palpatine. Oh, he should be dead. That's all I know. John DeMarco says, I'm curious to see how the Emperor is involved. Dart says, you haven't really read Dark Empire then. He comes back with Sparty clones. No, Darth, I don't read Star Wars books. I don't read really Star Trek books either, but I have read Star Trek books in the past. I've never read a Star Wars book, and I don't ever anticipate reading one. Josh Street says, Bird of Prey, Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker is episode 9. Yes, I did realize that when I watched the trailer. Mark says Palpatine would be between the ages of 8 and 12. TJ is lolling, and DJ says, yes, I did. Thomas Potts said, I was in charge of the quotes today. Okay, TJ. Good for you, I guess. John DeMarco says the covenant was that there wouldn't be a worldwide flood, not that no one would ever die in a flood again. I see. How convenient. So if you only flood 3/4 of the world, you didn't break the covenant. DJ Odyssey says, damn, Bird, you're going head to head against Mecca and Trek Yards. Good. That's fine. Now the 11 people here seems pretty damn good, especially since I'm 1 and Mom is 1. So 9 people. 12 now. Darth Cahoon says, if it was a gene, then it would have died off. Well, Darth, actually, I don't think it would. And I say that because for 1,000+ years, we've had the church and other religions, but Christianity, we'll simplify it and say Christianity, has been so against homosexuality that kids were brainwashed into, even gay kids, you know, maybe not today, but 100 years ago, 500 years ago. You can only imagine when gays were actually tortured to death, that they were brainwashed into marrying women and having children and probably having very awful, miserable lives because they just weren't happy and they never would be happy. And God knows I would never be happy if I ended up with a guy, because that's what society told me I had to do. So playing the reverse of that, and I suspect it's one of the leading causes of domestic disputes, violence. People to this day are still being brainwashed into living lies, and they have this. They're brought up with this false idea that they're not gay as long as they don't act on it. And listen, you can argue you're not gay if you don't act on it, but to me, if you are attracted to men, whether you act on it or not, if you're a man attracted to men or you're a woman attracted to other women, whether you act on it or not, you're still gay. You're just a gay person who doesn't engage in gay relations, but you're still gay. But a lot of people, they've been taught, and I've heard people tell this to me, and they don't see anything wrong with it. Like, well, no, as long as I don't, do that with another guy, I'm not gay. You can't call me gay. And I'm thinking, I'm already calling you gay in my head, because no way a straight person would have ever said something that stupid. I'm not saying they're being stupid for being gay. I'm saying they're being stupid for denying who they are. Anyway, that's why it wouldn't have died off. To be honest, the church, the people most against homosexuality historically, were the very ones that kind of caused it to, I believe, get passed down. And whether it's a genetic or something else, that it kind of now, it's so in the population that it's never going to be bred out. It can't be bred out. There's everyone is probably a carrier. And that's just the way life is. It's the way it's going to be. Had the church, now obviously this is stupid, no religion was going to do this 1,000 years ago or even 500 years ago, but had these religions at the time understood and welcomed homosexuality and not made people, not made guilt them into having families or brainwash them into having families, then maybe it would have died out. But no, now it's in the genome. It's there, and it's I don't know. I don't think you can get it out anymore. Mark Andy says, "How did I say this? Damn it! I want to jump Tilly's bones." How can I say this? Damn it! Yeah, Dr. Culber, and that could be. He could show up. "Hey, Tilly, I need to do a checkup on you." She's like, "Dr. Culber, this is very unusual. It's not sick bay." He's like, "Yes, it's the Rigelian fever. I need you to get undressed." She's like, "Doctor, we haven't had to get undressed in 200 years since the invention of the X-rayoscope." He's like, "Don't fight with your doctor, Tilly." That's not going to a good place. I'm gonna stop that. DJ Odyssey says he isn't straight. He is a lesbian trapped in a male's body. Well, maybe, you know what? Maybe they're just gonna go full on trans. Maybe that's exactly what they're gonna do. We're gonna meet up with Dr. Culber in a year, and instead of whatever his first name is, it's the woman version of his name, and he's gonna be dating Jet Reno. Josh Street says, "No wonder why Anti-Tracker isn't here. Mecca is streaming." Anti-Tracker's not on Mecca's stream. I highly doubt it. Darth Calhoun says, "Just played through Halo 3 again. So great. Can't wait till Reach comes to MCC." I'm not sure who that is. DJ Ozzy says, "Nah, he's probably on Trek Yards." Mark Andy says, "Mr. Culver, you've just been resurrected. What will you do now?" I'm going to Disney World. I mean Risa. Anti-Tracker, welcome, Anti-Tracker. Says, Josh Street, I was having lunch with Mrs. Anti-Tracker. Now she is better. I spend 5 to 6 p.m. Central with her. Very cool, Anti-Tracker. DJ Odyssey, though I gotta say it's a little late for lunch. DJ Odyssey says, finally a former classic Doctor Who actor who came out against the PC garbage being pushed nowadays. Dark Calhoun says, Game of Thrones. Nah, 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 nah. Josh Street says, Darth, since you have CK2, can you play the Game of Thrones mod? DJ Odyssey says, live streams in the most Joe reads these days. No, I read newspaper articles and forums and things like that. Darth Calhoun says Josh Street with no DLCs. And Josh Street says Darth does if you're only 3 feet tall, then a single climate planet makes sense. And Darth Calhoun says you don't need DLC to play CK2 mods, but you can't play all the characters. Okay, Kennewick Sapien says Anti-Tracker says you live Thursday's track. What was up with Pipe winking at Georgie? Okay, Anti-Tracker did not watch the entire episode. He only watched the first half, so he does not know that happened. DJ Odyssey says, giving him a bit. He is way behind in the comments. And it was 7:08. It is now 7:13. 5 minutes behind, Anti-Tracker, just like you. Confirmed. Birdo Prey 5 think gay people are dumb and straight people are smart. No straight person would say something that stupid. Well, I did say that. Oh no. Now I lost the chat. Okay. DJ Odyssey says Anti-Tracker has been here for a while now. Lol. DJ says X-Rayoscope. Well, I didn't know what to call it. Not Ryan Johnson says finally got home, sat down, getting something to eat. What did I miss? How far behind is Birdo Prey 5 in the comments? 4 minutes. And DJ Odyssey still behind. He was on some rant, lol. Mark Andy says Native Americans have what they call two spirits, which is traditionally what they refer to as homosexuality, and as yet it was accepted and continued despite no presence of old world religion, which would have forced underground but did not. True, and I've heard about the two spirits, Native Americans, and that some people consider them the homosexuals, some people considered them what we'd call transsexuals today, or hermaphrodites, which I know is more of a medical thing, but where are the Native Americans today? Not many left. So I understand that was their culture, but it doesn't mean anything anymore, unfortunately. It was not the culture that took over the rest of the world. Not Ryan Johnson says, when is Bird not on a rant? Kennewick Sapien says, I prefer Bird's tangent rants than Mecca's tangents. There's a method to Bird's madness. Oh, thank you, Kennewick. Indeed, that's the nicest thing somebody said to me in a stream today. DJ Odyssey says, when sleeping? Mark, Josh says, DJ, we need to nuke Karoga. Damn you, no. No Karoga. Not going to get nuked. DJ's on it. Ryan Johnson wants proof of that. Anti-Tracker says, well, now I know. Well, I know now, lol. Mark Andy says, so the condition continues despite not enough white blood. Honestly, I do not know if the percentage of homosexuality in Native Americans is any different than it is amongst Europeans, European descendants, or even other races that have committed to the church. I don't know that have been, I don't want to say subjects of the church, but believers for multiple generations now. I don't know. I've never looked up the info. I don't know if anybody even keeps that info. I don't know that I would believe anyone who has such info to begin with, because how do you really get reliable such information? You ask people, because the people that are living the lie are still going to lie. So I wouldn't know how you could even measure that. Darth Calhoun. Mark Andy says, I hope you can make sense of my broken statement. Voice to text bad. I got the gist of it, Mark. I do. Darth says, I'm going to play some SWTOR. Star Wars something, I guess. Darth Calhoun says, yes, Western civilization trumps everyone else 9 out of 10 times. Not Ryan Johnson says, wow, Bird hates Native Americans. Not true. Chakotay was perhaps my favorite Voyager character after Paris and Kim and Seven and Tuvix and the Doctor. Feel like there might, and Seska. Mark Andy says, oh, DJ, and the kid, Naomi Wildman. I liked her. She was a good character. She was the best kid in all of Star Trek. She was the only one I didn't hate. Well, Jake Sisko, I liked him too. And Nog. You know what? She was just the best kid on Voyager. Not Ryan John. Certainly better than any of the kids on The Next Generation. Not Ryan Johnson says, then Bird will snore and go, son of a bitch. John Street says, Star Wars, The Old Republic, MMO. Anti-Trekker says, lol, we need to ask Mama Pray. What do you need to ask her, Anti-Trekker? And I can so picture God damn it in his sleep. Do I say God damn it or other curses in my sleep? Son of a bitch in my sleep. No. Mom says I sleep as quiet as a baby. Okay, she didn't say that, but no, I don't say things in my sleep. Plus, I've got a CPAP mask on most of the time. So if I said something, no one would hear it. Although for many years I did not have a CPAP mask. So I assume if I had been saying anything, you would have heard it.
Right, I haven't. The only one that curses in their sleep is Sassy.
Only Sassy curses in their sleep. Okay.
She says that.
She says son of a bitch. Maybe that's where I picked it up from. Kennewick Sapien says a sci-fi TV episode we'll never see, addressing the moral question, would it be okay if a religious couple aborted a fetus that tested positive for gay genes? You know what? I did not want to go into this, but you know what? We've already opened the door. Is it impossible to think, prior to Star Trek Discovery, that the lack of all homosexual humans, maybe science had found something, and I don't want to use the word cure because that's bad, but that homosexuality was in fact a gene or something, and they altered it so that no one had to be born gay. And you say, oh, but there's nothing wrong with being born gay, and that's true. But there's also nothing wrong with being born not gay. Okay? And we know if you're born gay, that leads to increased chance of suicide, increased chance of bullying. It's a lot of bad things. Now, I'm not saying gay people are bad. They're definitely not. But if you have the choice between raising a kid that you know is going to be gay and a kid that you know is not going to be gay, isn't it the parents' moral responsibility to make sure the kid isn't gay, because they're going to have an easier life? And I know this is hot stuff. This is going to be the stuff that's going to get people angry and fighting. But honestly, I think it's true. I think even gay people would probably agree that if there was something that what could have been done early on, even before they were born, that it was something that could be detected. And I definitely would not say abort, but definitely if they could just do something, give the mother a shot of extra vitamin B12 or something, and they would know the baby wouldn't be born gay, they should do it, okay? It would be their moral obligation to do it, not because homosexuality is forbidden by the Bible, which is nonsense, but because it is just healthier and safer for the child, and the person who becomes an adult. And the same with being transsexual. Jesus, the suicide rate of transsexuals is, I think, worse than veterans, which is itself a ridiculous crime, the veteran suicide rate. So if you're even approaching that number, that's terrible. Now, yeah, it would be nice if the entire world decided tomorrow, hey, we're going to accept homosexuals and transsexuals and all the other different types of sexualities, but it's not going to happen. And even if we in America or the people in Europe all of a sudden decided to drop the cultural biases we might have to it, there's all the rest of the world that is not as enlightened, that follow other religions, that they are never ever going to accept it, not in 100 years, not in 500 years. And, those people make up half the world. So, by all rights, if such a thing happened, who's to say that it would be bad? I honestly, to me, that's what I always figured happened. I mean, yes, we explored homosexuality to a point in Deep Space Nine. And I was fine with that because it was like when the same symbiont, like the Dax symbiont, changed from male to female to male to female. And sure, if you were in love with somebody and then you meet them again, but now you're a different gender, you're in a different body, but you're still in love with them, I could see that. But that wasn't like human homosexuality. That was an alien thing. Or when Quark had to undergo surgery to pretend to be a woman to make some type of deal or something, that was kind of absurd. It was probably, I would say, that was probably legit transsexuals probably offended by that episode. But again, it wasn't a bad episode. It was just kind of ridiculous. And then when Quark, it was actually a woman, but the woman was pretending to be a man, who then also fell in love with Quark. Quark had a lot of people fall in love with him for being a Ferengi troll-looking guy. He had the Klingon woman, he had that Ferengi chick who pretended to be a guy. Jadzia wasn't too far from him. She was certainly there playing tango. And so Quark got the homosexual stuff, the transsexual stuff, at least twice in Deep Space Nine. And I think there were some others, but yeah, you never saw it human to human. And just figured, oh, just like we didn't see, to be honest, in Star Trek, amongst humans, we didn't see dwarfism, okay? And until Discovery, we didn't see people in wheelchairs, except Pike, who was a tremendous, tremendous accident. That's not a wheelchair, okay? But we assumed, hey, science had come far enough. They fixed paralysis. They fixed dwarfism, okay? If you were, you're getting a screening for your baby, you're like, hey, we detected gene 029675A, and that's a 99.8% chance your baby's only going to grow up to be, 2.5 feet tall, almost as tall as the anti-tracker. Do you want us to fix that? Every parent would say yes. Yes, go ahead and fix that. And it's okay, so you know what? No dwarfs were born. That's not eugenics. That's just good medicine. Okay? They're not picking hair colors and eye colors and the other stuff. They're legit medical issues. When you're a dwarf, there's legit medical issues. When you're a little person, little person. There are legit medical issues when you're homosexual, when you're transsexual. Physical, mental, all different types of things. Wheelchair, myself. Granted, I wasn't born this way, but I got this way. But no one in Star Trek, until Discovery, which doesn't count, did you ever see anybody using a wheelchair for any period of time? So, that was good. That was a positive future. So, anyway, it's that time again. I'll be right back. Mark, if you're still here, enjoy the antics of DJ Odyssey. Yeah. I'll assume you guys didn't mind me ending that a little early. So you know what? As much as I don't mind talking about this trek we're on, let me get to the Twilight Zone, because there's a few things I do want to say about that. Then I'll get back to the comments. So you guys know I was not a fan of the first 2 episodes of the Twilight Zone. In fact, I had they been called the Jordan Peele Mystery Hour, which I still think is a better name for the show, then one of the episodes, episode 2, Terror at 30,000 Feet, wouldn't have been terrible. Episode 1 was terrible no matter what it was called. Episode 2 was only a terrible Twilight Zone episode. It wasn't necessarily a terrible TV show. Replay, which is episode 3. I have to be honest, and I know this is going to come as a shock to many. Episode 3 was a vast improvement. A vast improvement over episodes 1 and 2, in my opinion. Is it Twilight Zone? No. There's still too many F-bombs. There's still too many general cursing, and the twist at the end, it just wasn't there. It just wasn't there. But it was closer than ever before. Okay, it was far closer than to any episode 1 or episode 2 was to the Twilight Zone. I would say 80% of the episode was decent. Now that said, the episode was too long. Okay, it was 48 minutes with no commercials. That would be an hour plus long TV. It would be like an hour and 5-minute TV show on network TV with commercials. Okay, Twilight Zone, they should be 30-minute episodes. So anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes, maybe 38 minutes tops. If you cannot tell the story in 35 minutes, it is not a Twilight Zone episode. Okay? So 1, it was too long. 2, there was too much cursing. And 3, as I said before, that twist at the end was just terrible. That said, I loved the fact that this was an old camcorder. I loved the fact that the mother trusted to actually tell somebody what was going on and not keep it completely to herself until it was too late. I really, really like the fact that the mother tried to turn the tables and befriend the police officer. Rather than wait for him to come after them, she tried to get in front of it. She tried to introduce herself to him. Now, the moment she made the mistake of calling him by his name after, and him not knowing, him knowing they haven't met before, and suspicious how she knew his name, she should have rewound the camera and gone back in time and started again, and this time just said, I really would like to buy you a piece of apple pie because I support our police officers and I want to thank you for the work you do. That would have been better. But I think we all know, no matter what she did, the forces at work in the Twilight Zone were not going to let her and her son get to the college for some reason. It was a little weird that she totally didn't want to go to the family's house, to her brother's house, even when it was clear that they were not gonna get there any other way. Even after they spent the night in the motel, and that still didn't work. I was thinking, well, go to the brother's house. That makes the most sense. But it took till the very, very end, of course, to get there. Then there was the fact that, there just happens to be this And the microphone is on, yes. There just happens to be this abandoned tunnel that leads right from the old neighborhood right to the college. And it's clean enough that, hey, you can come out not being covered in sewage and all nice and clean and ready to go start your first day of college. And I didn't mind the white police officer being cast as a bad guy. I honestly didn't. What was kind of ridiculous was that why did this have to take place in 2019 and not, say, 1965 or something in the South as opposed to the North or wherever it was. It just didn't make a lot of sense. And it would be more believable set in the past. Now I know Jordan Peele wants to say, but this is how things really are today. And I know there are still racist cops. I do. I'm not saying there isn't. But obviously that person was an exaggeration. Okay, nobody, I hope even Jordan Peele wouldn't deny that actor, the way the cop portrayed police officers was an exaggeration. The part like, what are you going to do, shoot me? And he's like, well, I can do anything I want. Don't you read the news anymore? Like, yes, police are going around taunting that they could just kill black people with impunity. No, that's a bit ridiculous. Pull people over, sure. Stereotype, yeah. Give a trouble, yes, that happens. I'm sure that happens. In college, I was witness to it when we would be driving to another college for an engineering competition, and a white guy or girl, but mostly a white guy, was driving, didn't get pulled over. Black guy, Hispanic guy gets behind the wheel, we get pulled over 2-3 times in the same state for no apparent reason. Of course, once they look in and they say, oh, okay, white guys are back there, and you say, okay, be on your way and don't speed. We weren't speeding, officer. There's a trailer with a year's worth of work behind us. Okay, believe me, we are not going to be speeding, because if we destroy that, we destroy any chance of winning the competition. So no, we're not speeding, and we're not doing crazy stuff. We're just trying to get the project to the school in one piece so that we can compete. But yes, so I know that happens, and fine, but it doesn't happen like they show it on this. That said, also another big problem I had with it, the lottery. And she shows you, she uses it to win the lottery, or not win the lottery, to predict the lottery numbers in front of her son, to amaze her son. And you're supposed to tell me that in all the years after the son has grown up, the son has had kids, the son has graduated college, the son has graduated college, had kids, grown up, I assume in that order. She has never once thought again about, hey, let me record the lottery numbers today and then rewind it and then win the lottery tonight, so that, hey, my family don't have to worry about the police officers coming, because, hey, we can just buy a whole freaking town and have private security. No, she doesn't ever win the lottery, despite having every power to do so. And then the most, I won't say the most disappointing, but a very disappointing fact was that they showed us the camera being destroyed in the preview. So when the camera had yet to be destroyed, with only 30 seconds left in the episode, or a minute left in the episode, We knew exactly what was going to happen as soon as the kid. Why are you giving a 1998 camcorder to a kid anyway? What the hell are they going to do with it? But as soon as the kid picks up the camcorder, smashes it into pieces. Do they try to fix it? I guess not. Now, why fix it? It only controls the past and the future, I suppose. I was waiting for a twist, like the thing got broken on reverse, or something, and she ended up the mechanism got jammed, and she had to relive the same day over and over, and like the day her kid got shot or something. No, it wasn't anything that big. But the day that now, at the end of the episode, okay, now, the kid goes through, if you haven't seen the episode, it's like this. There's a mother and a son. They're black because it makes a point. It's an important part of this episode. And they're sitting in an old-time diner. And the kid is going to college because he wants to be something in movies. He wants to be a director, a producer, something to do with movies. And I guess it's like Jordan Peele as a young person or something. And the mother is taking him to college, and the father's not in the picture, of course, because that's the way it is. And even the rest of the family, she doesn't talk to her brother. She's just her and her son, even though there are other family members that could potentially be involved. So they're at this old-timey diner. A overweight white cop walks in and looks a little funny. Sits down. Now a black waitress, who he seems very friendly with, knows him by name and gives him what he regularly, or he asks what he wants, and he says, you know what, today I think I'll have chicken fried steak or something, and he starts eating, and then they have a conversation, they eat, and they pay their bill, and they leave. And first time they leave, the son is driving, and the son gets pulled over for speeding, or at least that's what he believes he was pulled over for, was speeding, and he gets into and the mother from the passenger seat starts answering all the cops' questions when her son should be answering the questions. The son is the driver, so it was inappropriate for her to jump in and answer questions for their son. If the son can drive, the son should be answering the questions himself. So that was kind of weird to begin with. That was the very first interaction with the police officer. She should have let the son answer. That said, the cop... the mother realized in the restaurant that when she pressed rewind she was recording her son on this camera for prosperity, and he said something. He got ketchup. He was squeezing a ketchup bottle. He got ketchup all over his shirt while she was recording, and he says, "Oh, I don't want everybody to see that. Rewind the tape and record over it." And she reluctantly rewinds, and she realizes her rewinding didn't just rewind the tape, it rewound time. So this old time camcorder has the power to rewind time. So long as she records something, she can rewind time back before it happened, to the point where she started recording to begin with. So she used it, and it really got her all freaked out. And they left the restaurant, and she was half out of it. And then they get pulled over, and the son takes, the mom is out of it. The son takes the camera and is trying to record the mother with the camera while he's driving. And he is technically breaking the law. He's using a device while driving, and that's against the law there. And he said, do you know why I pulled you over? And he's like, I was speeding. He's like, no, you were using a handheld device behind the wheel. And like he started getting the cop, I forget what the cop did. He did something or said something that the kid took a little attitude with. And the mother got involved, who never should have got involved. And at some point, the cop brought out a taser gun, and you could see things were about to go bad. And the mother thought, and she rewound the camera, and they ended up back at the diner. And so she's like, oh, you know, she realizes what she has this power now. So they do something different. They go, oh, the mother starts driving instead of the son this time. But they still end up getting pulled over, or they pull over for some reason. And yeah, they pull over, and the cop pulls up behind them again. And he's like, right, because the mother is like, she needs the hospital. The son's like, my mother needs the hospital. And the cop's like, I'll help you with that once you pull the car off the road, because the car was still a little bit in the road, even though they'd pulled over to the side. And the cop was being an a-hole. And fine. So that was another situation where the son kind of gets an attitude with the cop. And that goes to almost to blows. And this repeats over and over again, to the point that one time her son actually gets shot and killed. And she, for some reason, doesn't rewind it immediately. Gets all the way to the point that she's at the morgue and has to identify the body of her son, and then asks for the camera she had back, and then first rewinds. So she's already seen her son dead. Now she rewinds back. Luckily, they get through that. And then this goes over and over several times, more times than it needed to. Again, this is why it could have been a shorter episode. Finally, they decide to go to the mother's brother's house, which is very close by. And the brother believes her about, you know, this special power that the camera had, and talks about how that, you know, maybe the parents, when they used to talk about the mystical stuff that they brought over from the motherland, maybe it's not so crazy anymore. And yeah, so that's when the brother knows about this secret tunnel to the college. So they take the secret tunnel to the college, and the mother is so happy. She feels like once her son walks through the gates of the college, then the curse will be broken, and that the white police officer is his goal in life is to stop her son from entering the gates of the college. So of course they get to the college, and they're just about to get through the gate when the cop cars pull up, and the same officer gets out and says her name and says, you need to come here. And he won't say why, and he's like, you need to show us ID. And the son's like, no. And then it's the first day of college, so all the parents, and it's a black school. It's an all-black college. So he's specifically going to an all-black school. So all the other parents were out there with their kids, and they're all black and other races perhaps, but no whites. And the mother has the camera, and the cop comes, and then backup comes. So now there's like 4 or 5 white cops, all with their guns drawn, aimed at the mother now. And she's like, I won't let you stop my boy. My boy's worked hard. He's going to go through that gate. He deserves to go through this gate. All like nonsense. nonsense words that who are you explaining this to? They don't care. But whatever, it gets the scene, and of course, like all 50 people there immediately turn on their cell phones. So all the cameras now of all the cell phones of all the parents and all the students are all pointed at the police officers. And the police officers now get scared because everybody's got them on tape. They know if they mess up, their career's over, their lives are probably over. And they all kind of chicken out and leave, except the original bad guy. He still stays. He's the last one. And then the mother gives a speech about how it's not we're who are afraid, it's you who are afraid. Now, for the first time, I know you're the one who's afraid. And the guy finally leaves because he never should have been there to begin with. And her son goes through the gate, and yay, the curse is broken. And they fast forward to the son with a kid of his own, a daughter of his own. And the mother is older, the kid's older, obviously. And that's where the daughter breaks the camera. Now, this whole time, the mother still kept that same old camera. And the son has known she's kept it because it can rewind time. But he thinks the mother's been using it as a crutch, and it's time for her to let go of it anyway. So I think he's kind of happy that the daughter breaks the camera. And if this was a real Twilight Zone episode, something would have happened, like the kid would have hit rewind or something, and it would have rewound back to the diner. And the whole life she had known for the last 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it had been, 10 years, would have been gone. And she was like, shit, she has to live this whole thing over again, maybe. And then the camera would have broken or something. But no, the camera broke, and then the son leaves the apartment. He's like, I know. Oh, your camera that rewinds time broke. I know. I'll go out and get ice cream. So he puts on his jacket and he goes out the door, and the door closes, and the episode fades to black, and you hear a police siren. And that's it. Does the son get arrested? Does the son get killed? Was the police siren even something part of the episode? We don't know. But like I said, it was far more of a Twilight Zone episode than any before it. It just really sucked at the ending. The first 60 to 80% was pretty good. It was just really, really bad ending. And I wouldn't call it a Twilight Zone episode yet, but they're closer. Now, unfortunately, we've seen this pattern with Discovery. Just because you get one decent episode or one improved episode, it in no way means the rest of the episodes are going to get better. Because they're all probably just like crap. They're dice that were thrown, and there's no relation one episode to the next if it's going to be better or worse. So that was my Twilight Zone review. And I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10, it gets a 3, which is better than either of the previous 2 episodes, which was 0 and 1, if I recall. So yeah, a significant improvement, 1 to 3. But still garbage. Still not worth your time or your money. Now the Orville, I'm not going to go into a deep review. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. The Orville continues to remain a very good show. I'm going to be very, very disappointed when it gets canceled. And I am more sure now than ever that it is being canceled, because Disney has fully embraced The Simpsons. The Simpsons are going to be on the Disney streaming app, all 30 seasons. And what does that mean? I bet that means that is why The Simpsons have gone total SJW this season. They knew Disney was buying. They knew the writing was on the wall. They knew they had to change, and they did. And SJW is the way Disney wants to do things. It's the way they want to do Star Wars. It's the way they want to do their movies. And it's the way they want to do The Simpsons. And you know what? Seth MacFarlane doesn't want to do things that way. So the Orville is gone. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and say Disney does not want to be in the Seth MacFarlane business. So I am more sure than ever, unfortunately, the Orville is going to be gone from Fox. I hope something else picks it up. Netflix, Amazon, please. It's not going to be Hulu. Hulu is mostly owned by Disney now, so it's not going to be Hulu. But Amazon or Netflix, or perhaps even like an HBO or something, is possible but doubtful. But would love to see it go to Amazon or Netflix, but prepare for a massive delay, because even if they had started filming today, which they're not, we'd be lucky to get the Orville 1 year from the date it premiered. So it takes so long to do an Orville episode with all the CGI and everything. We're looking at least a year from the day they start shooting, and they haven't started shooting yet, which means we're at least, we're going to be more than 12 months away whenever they announce its renewal. At least in my opinion and everything I have read on the Orville and how long it takes to make episodes. And for completeness, the Star Trek Discovery review, it's just total garbage. I'm not even going to get into the details. I will release a separate video, hopefully tomorrow, where I get into it scene by scene for those so inclined. But it is terrible. That said, there is something worth seeing, and let's see if I can bring it up. I think I got a chance. Do I remember what I called it? Yep, there we go. I probably started it with STD. What's it? Such sweet sorrow. Okay. No, that's not it. Okay. This is the starship porn. I cut out all the starship porn. There is about a minute of it throughout this entire episode. This one scene ran a little long, where Spock, I should have cut it before Spock walks down the corridor, but all the other clips of the Enterprise and the Discovery and all their stupid little fighters, because they're going to go play Star Wars in the last episode. They want to play Star Wars. They want to have X-Wings and TIE fighters fight. Yeah. But we will enjoy this minute and 15 seconds of total starship porn. Mostly the Enterprise. Just look how much nicer. How much nicer is the Enterprise than the Discovery. It is an embarrassment. It is an embarrassment that they even made Discovery. Look at it. Look, who wants to be on that ship? No one. No one wants to be on that ship. And oh, let me do one thing. I'm gonna put the camera. Let me put the fish on because that's gonna be interesting. We'll put opera on now. Let's see if this will work. This you'll get a kick out of if it works. Imager, new post. Yeah, okay. Okay, it does work. Okay, so let me start this again, and let's see if I can pause it. Okay. Let's see, is it the next scene? No. It might have been the first scene. It might have been the first scene. And there goes Doomcock live. Yeah, I think it was the first scene. Okay. Okay. So, no, pause. Where have we seen... We'll stop it there. Where have we seen... Now look at how much longer the Discovery is than the Enterprise. Does this look familiar to any of us? Okay, let me get out of the way for a second. Does that look familiar to any of us? It should. It should. I cannot help but be surprised when I see the resemblance between this scene and this. Yeah? Even the proportions are right. Okay, now I know this is the Anti-Trekker and not the Enterprise, but even the proportions are right. Honestly, this was the best part of the entire episode. And yeah, the hate. I mean, the review will be in tomorrow's video. Okay, so now I'm way behind in comments. So let's see how much I finish. Mark Andre, if you're still here, says, I say dress sardonically for effect. And of course, I just lost my place in the comments. I think it was at 726 was where the last comment I read. Anti-Trekker says, actually, a kilt is not a dress, it's a skirt. I don't know how that came into comment. Kennewick Sapien says, every other word from New Yorkers is damn this or that. Anti-Trekker says, as quiet as a baby, a 300-pound angry sailor baby. DJ's laughing. Not Ryan Johnson is laughing. Josh Street is lolling. DJ Odyssey says, there were lesbians in both Deep Space Nine and TNG. DJ, were there human lesbians? Okay, Jadzia Dax, not human, and the Trill woman she was in with also was again a Trill, and they were a conjoined species. So I understand that. The lesbians in Star Trek The Next Generation, offhand, I'm having a hard time remembering who, but please indulge me. Were they human? What episode was it? I'd be curious to see. Mark Andy says, but the gay thing stayed with them despite no cultural or incentive to genetically pass it down. The Native Americans. But to what extent? I don't know. Like I said, I honestly don't know. I doubt there's enough documentation to prove it. Like I said, it's not gonna. Nothing's gonna go away 100%. Okay, that was. I know Darth Calhoun said it would have been bred out, but no. Okay, nothing's gonna get bred out because, red hair or something. We still have tons of red hair, even though in theory, red hair is going to be bred out one day. But we're many generations away from that happening. And I bet even when we think it's about to happen, much like global warming, it's not gonna actually happen. Says DJ, if I remember right, the TNG was the first TV show that showed a lesbian kiss. I am most curious, DJ, as to what episode that was. John DeMarco says, if there was a gene, it could have been eliminated by the eugenics wars. True. Richie Poole says, hi, guys. And DJ says, hi to every Richie. Mark Andy says, I'm merely using a separate genetic group to make an argument based on, because of oceans, they became de facto control group. John DeMarco says, I don't recall lesbians on TNG or on DS9. The instances were Trills and Mirror Universe. Yes, that's all I recall too. And the Mirror Universe wasn't lesbians. They seemed to be polyamorous. That word I learned thanks to Lisa Simpson. Not meaning cheese. Not meaning a cheese armoire, but one with many lovers of multiple genders, apparently. Anti-Trigger says, on TNG there was a Trill that was a male, had a relationship with Dr. Crusher, then became a woman, and when she left, she kissed Dr. Crusher. Right, but that is not being a lesbian. Anti-Trigger says, Bird, Plato's stepchildren, TOS, dude, Alexander was a dwarf. Anti-Trigger, Alexander wasn't a human. He was not born on Earth. And he wasn't human. And they did not have they decided not to fix him. They had different medical technology than Earth did. I don't know if they had any medical technology. They seemed to be living in rocks. Sci-Fi Guy says, got called away suddenly, but I'm back. Kennewick Sabian retracted a message. John DeMarco says, I remember that episode. I thought Crusher didn't want anything to do with the new host. Maybe I forgot that part. I do remember Crusher being conflicted. In fact, wasn't the Trill, the symbiote, put into Commander Riker at one point, and then Riker had the hots for Beverly? John Street says, if they had that when Anti-Trigger was born, he would be 3 foot. He wouldn't be 3 foot tall. Anti-Trigger says, in Plato's stepchildren, Kirk says that where he comes from, it does not matter your size. Yes, it doesn't matter your size. Like if you come from an alien race of little people, it doesn't matter. But he doesn't confirm that there are little people running around on Earth, and we certainly don't see them in any Starfleet vessels. Josh Reed says, but Bird, wouldn't you be taller too? Not only 3 foot 5 inches tall. If you think I'm 3 foot 5 inches tall, then That's fine. And bird, nobody in the chair. How about Captain effing Pike? Again, Anti-Trekker, a special case. By all accounts, Captain Pike was like almost dead. Okay? And what I'm saying is, and he wasn't in like a wheelchair. He was in some type of mobile life support device. We did not see anyone in like a regular wheelchair other than in the DS9 episode, the woman who was from a planet with low gravity. And the high gravity on Deep Space Nine she had to adjust to, and Dr. Bashir got a wheelchair for her, and she didn't want to deal with it. She wanted to just get used to the high gravity, and of course she ended up falling down. But in her quarters, they could turn down the gravity. DJ Odyssey says he said Pike, but that was not a wheelchair. Lol. Well, it wasn't. Richie Poole says make it stop. DJ says technically it was called a life support system. Ah, you see, I just pulled that out of my ass, and that's exactly what DJ Odyssey called it. Kenoak Sapien says, yeah, more like Darth Vader suit. Anti-Trekker says, I like this video. It makes me feel thinner somehow. DJ Odyssey says, gee, thanks, jerk. Oh, that was the DJ Odyssey video. Kenoak Sapien says, reporting this to YouTube for explicit furry porn. Anti-Trekker smiling. John DeMarco says, there was an episode of DS9 where a character from a low gravity was in a wheelchair. Yes. Kenoak Sapien says, yes, TZ, rather listen to Bird's review of the actual show. Anti-Trigger says, Bird just liked replay because he was in it as the state trooper. I was not the state trooper. And he said he would have liked it better if he did not have all those blacks. No, I liked it. It was a lot better. It was right on the cusp of being a true Twilight Zone episode. Thomas Potts says, hello everyone, just stopping by. Thomas, I'm glad you're somewhere safe. I assume you made it to wherever you were going. Good to hear from you. And DJ says, hello Thomas, I got a great quote earlier. Kenoak Sapien says, subvert my expectations and give me a happy Twilight Zone ending for a change. That would be a great subversion. And they lived happily ever after. And the clown was actually a clown and not a killing machine. Anti-Trigger says, how did it not make any sense? It was effing Virginia. Do you know where the blackface governor is from? Was it Virginia? Honestly, I thought they said New York or something like that. Or Vermont or New Hampshire or something. For some reason, I was picturing New England. If they said Virginia, I just missed that part. Thomas Potts says, how far behind is he? Well, pretty far. 35 minutes. Anti-Trigger says, overall I liked replay, even if it felt very Twilight Zone-ish, but like you, Bird, I felt the run time was way too long, cussing was too much, and the ending was meh. DJ Odyssey says, a while, lol. Thomas Potts says, well, I have to go. I'll watch your stream later. Good night, everyone. Good night, Thomas. Thank you for coming by. The Multi-Gunman. Welcome, Multi-Gunman. He says, hey, Bird, how's it going? Well, not terrible, but, man, I feel like Doomcock with his 62 pages of notes after this last episode of Discovery. I don't know how I'm going to condense it down into a review of any reasonable length. I'm going to try really hard to keep it under an hour. There's just so much worth complaining about. Even Anti-Trekker missed things. Like, let's see. Anti-tracker, I don't think he brought up. This is how far we have to go back. The beach. The beach on Vulcan. Since when does Sarek live near the beach? Does Vulcan even have oceans? I just remember it being a desert planet. I don't even remember seeing any oceans from orbit. The crew abandoning the ship. Right, they were taking things from the Discovery. Enterprise shows up. The evacuation corridors. Okay, Anti-Tracker did bring that up. What the hell, evacuation corridors? What stupid nonsense. What stupid nonsense. Oh, I was surprised Anti-Tracker didn't bring up that when Pike got to the Enterprise and they went in the Enterprise turbo lift, of all the things they decided to keep, even though they retconned and updated so much, the Enterprise turbo lift still had that stupid handle you had to touch to move the turbo lift. But instead of having to hold it in the Enterprise like you used to have to do for reasons, now you just touch it with your hand and tell it deck 1. So Pike turned it, said deck 1, and let go. And the turbo lift started moving. Nothing in Discovery or any other turbo lift has ever worked like that in Star Trek Discovery. Why would the Enterprise, even after a major refit, still have these stupid hand thing, turbo lift things? And if you're going to go through the trouble of putting it in, then at least make it work like it's supposed to work, and make them have to hold it for the thing to work. But no, they're just even dumber. You just have to. You've got to touch it. Why would you put that down there? I don't know. It makes no sense. It made no sense. And Burnham, when they're talking about there are 7 signals. There are 7 signals, but we've only seen 4. How do you know there are 7 signals if you've only seen 4? How do you know there are 7? Because if you saw 7 in the beginning, then hey, you saw all 7 signals. You did not only see 4. It boggles the mind, okay? It is like, I feel like I'm Captain Kirk, and I'm going through that android, and I'm that android that, you know, Captain Kirk is trying to destroy with illogic. Everything I tell you is a lie. If there are 4 signals, if there are 7 signals, but you've only seen 4, how do you know there are 7 signals? Does not compute. Does not compute. And my brain is going to explode into smoke and dust. And the time crystal. Now it's blue. It was green. Now it's blue. The auto-destruct is now activated by handprints. God damn you, Discovery. If there was one thing Star Trek fans wanted, okay, it's to hear the vocal self-destruct. And computer, this is Captain Pike. Code. You know, we want to know what their codes were. We want to know what Pike's code was. Captain Pike. Code. Gabriel, Michael, Lucifer. 2-3. Destruct. And Saru would be like, and this is Commander Saru. Code. Runaway, 5. And the computer would be like, confirmed. Waiting for a remote self-destruction code. And that would be the thing. But no, they did stupid handprints. Probably far more expensive to do the CGI on those handprints than it would have been to do a voice-activated code. And right, then you okay, that right, and Admiral Cornwell, whatever the hell her name is. Why is she in a Discovery uniform on the Enterprise? If she's been on the Enterprise, why isn't she wearing an Enterprise uniform? And yes, Anti-Trigger did miss number one saying no more holograms ever. Because, like, why? Because the holograms, because Control was able to pretend to be people in a hologram, and that they surely wouldn't have been able to pretend to be anyone if there was a view screen involved. That just makes no sense. None of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. Why did they stop shooting the torpedoes? The shield cannot take an infinite number of torpedoes. If you're trying to destroy Discovery and it's not fighting back, just keep shooting it with more torpedoes. Eventually, you're going to get the shields down. Unless we're supposed to believe that the sphere has upgraded the shields. And if this sphere data was capable of upgrading the shields, then they really have nothing to worry about from Control getting to them, because the sphere will just protect the ship. Now, the stupidity of Burnham just touching that crystal and being able to see the future, and then she has later repeats of seeing the future. Only because you guys saw it. You guys saw it on Anti-Tracker Stream. That's where I'm going to stop. But when Burnham sees the Enterprise and it's damaged, and it says that there's a photon torpedo lodged in the hull. Okay, remember, what size is a photon torpedo? Photon torpedoes are about the size of coffins. Okay, we've seen many torpedoes in both the movies and JJ movies, and they're all roughly about the size of a coffin. And all of a sudden, and in Deep Space Nine, they're even smaller. And Next Gen, they're the same size as the movies. And in Discovery, one photon torpedo, compared to the entire height of the saucer section of the Enterprise. I mean, what is the saucer section of the Enterprise at its thickest? 3 decks, maybe 4 decks? I don't know. But let's say it's 3 decks. Let's say it's 30 feet thick. This photon torpedo sticking through the Enterprise's saucer section looks like it's 60 to 90 feet long and maybe 30 feet in diameter. Okay, that's not a photon torpedo. That's like a ship. That's like a runabout or something has crashed into the saucer section of the Enterprise. It is definitely not a photon torpedo. Under no circumstances is what we're seeing sticking out of the Enterprise hull a photon torpedo. Damn you, Star Trek. Damn you. Multi-Gunman says, I see Bird is talking about black people again tonight. No, I was actually talking about gay people. DJ Odyssey says, kind of like the Stopwatch one Trekker. Kennewick Sapien says, Stopwatch was a good Twilight Zone episode. Unbelievable. Yes, it was definitely, I would say it was definitely based off of that. Now, what I did not see in this episode, and I could have just missed it, was some throwback to the original Stopwatch episode. Now, I would have thought that, maybe the uncle was going to give the kid a stopwatch and say, it was the fathers or something, the grandfathers, then it would have looked like the original stopwatch from that episode. Now, maybe I missed it, and I might have, but I did not see any callback to the stopwatch episode. Kennewick Sapien says, and the twist will fit the times. Oh, I didn't think it fit the times. DJ Odyssey says, you missed it earlier, Gunman. He was on the gay thing again. Again? Anti-Trigger says, the Twilight Zone is supposed to be about M. Night Shyamalan type of twist at the end. Yeah. DJ Odyssey says, I like the remake of the stopwatch one where the woman was going to use it to do shopping and such. Then war broke out and she used it on the way home to her kids to see the missile about to go off. The Multi-Gunman says the only thing Bird rants more about than black people is the gays. Anti-Trigger says one of the best episodes have something iconic in it, like All the Time in the World or To Serve Man. When they do the To Serve Man one, that's going to be something. I wonder if they can even do it, because how do you fit white racism into To Serve Man? I mean, I guess you could do it, but I don't know if Jordan Peele is up to the task. Kennewick Sapien says, but Twilight Zone always sour and pessimistic. Lots of happy endings or second chances in old Twilight Zones. Is always... Okay, he says door and pessimistic. But I don't think D-O-U-R is a word. DJ Odyssey says, old man in the cave. Anti-Trigger says, yes, but the classic episodes left a rather bleak ending. Multi-Gunman says, DJ Odyssey, I'm glad I wasn't around for the gay rant. He probably would have broke my speakers. DJ says he will start up again just seeing us say gay rant, lol. Anti-Trigger says, listen to Bird defending the cop. I didn't defend the cop. Multi-Gunman says, although I like Bird's hate-filled rants, he draws big racist white national crowd. Where's the big crowd? I was promised a big racist white national crowd. It never came. The Anti-Trigger said, look at the pictures. It's clearly Bird playing the cop. And Multi-Gunman says, I know when he starts on the gay black Jew thing again when he unfurls the Nazis. That's not happening. Anti-Trigger posts a link to consequenceofsound.net. Clearly that's Bird just clean shaven. Okay, that is not me. Okay, for one, that guy's standing. And I guess that's really the biggest issue, is that he's standing. I would probably trade bodies with him, since he can walk, at least, if it was an option. Anti-Trigger says, clearly that is Bird, just clean shaven. DJ's lolling. Anti-Trigger says, seriously, look at that, it's him. Multi-Gunman says, just look at him, he's praying for some sort of old-fashioned police brutality. Kennewick Sapien says, moral of the story, if you see a cop at diner, buy them some pie. Multi-Gunman says, or donuts if you really want some credit. And Multi-Gunman says, oh, and it's a black school. Emphasis on black, says Bird. Here comes the ethnic rant, lol. DJ Odyssey says, yay, the curse is broken, Bird will pray 5. Multi-Gunman says, I think I hear the German national anthem playing in the background. Kennewick says, sounds anticlimactic. It was. It was incredibly anticlimactic. DJ says, was the police siren really outside of Bird's house? Darth Calhoun says, multi-gunman, Deutschland. Kenoic Sapien says, the Germans changed the lyrics. Those lyrics are from the second verse. Kenoic says, I mean the anthem uses the second verse. Anti-Tracker says, actually, Bird was not paying attention. You could see flashing police lights on the mother's face and the police car reflected in her eyes as it was fading out. Really? Okay, I believe you. Anti-Tracker says he hated all the gay stuff. Darth Calhoun says to Multi-Gunman, my favorite national anthem, then Russia's. Kenoic Sapien says, oh yes, Orville isn't looking good. Darth Calhoun says to Kenoic Sapien, still the state might not, may say not to sing the first stanza, but we don't listen to them anyway. They are trying to destroy Deutschland. John Mayer, Bird, prophet of doom. Anti-Tracker says, Joe just loves to hate. That's why he's convinced that Disney is SJW. He just wants to hate it. I don't want to hate Disney, Anti-Tracker. I grew up in a Disney house. My mother loves Disney World. She wanted a house. She wanted to move to Disney Celebration Village. Nothing would have made her happier than to live at Disney. Okay, we used to go to Disney World almost, not every summer, but a lot of summers when we could, when we were children. Very much a Disney house. But no, everything they do now is bad, and it's clear they have an agenda, and it gets into everything they buy, and they're buying everything. Josh Street says to Anti-Trigger, what did you think of the title of episode 9? Anti-Trigger says, Disney owns Lucasfilm, Pixar, the old Trin Star, and of course Disney Studios, and only Lucasfilm is SJW, but he is convinced. Well, it's not only Lucasfilm, now 20th century or 21st century Fox, whatever it is that does The Simpsons, they've gone full woke. Anti-Trigger says, Josh Street, title is okay, trailer was okay. The one thing that got my attention was the return of Palpy. Kenoic Sapien says, the scale between Enterprise and Discovery is awful. Anti-Tracker says, breaking news, Bird of Prey 5 removed from YouTube for showing porn. That's why I'm not going to name it Starship Porn. John DeMarco says, next to the Enterprise, Discovery looks even uglier. Yeah. Anti-Tracker says, if YouTube removes Bird of Prey 5 for ship porn, then they will have to remove Trek Yards too. Indeed. I'm going down. If I'm going down, I'm taking everybody with me. Kenoic Sapien says, graphic designer got her inspiration from a pizza cutter while smoking pot and eating pizza. Tail Stafford says, I don't know German. Still their national anthem, and literally means Germany above all. Yikes, is anybody watching these guys? Kenoic Sapien says, Germany above all, as in put all your money, put your country first. Almost every country national anthem is like that. Darth Calhoun says, yes, because our glorious Second Reich will rise again soon. John Street says the NX-01 and NX-02. I don't know what that was in response to, but it seems to be very funny. Lots of lols. Oh. Okay, it's when I put up the Anti-Tracker animation clip. And Josh Street says CBS stole from Joshua. And John Meyer says Joshua is a precognitive animator. it would appear, Anti-Tracker, your son, and it says, cue the Twilight music. Whatever your son draws comes to be, which means you're in it. You're in for a relationship with Lori Loaded, because if Joshua drew it, it's going to happen. Might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but it's going to happen. Dale Stratford, welcome, Dale. We are in the middle of an emergency evacuation, so I thought I would take about 10 minutes to stand here and make a personal log. Very, very accurate, Dale. Kennewick Sapien says, Kurtzman's Canadian special effect designers have no shame. Josh Reed says, Anti-Tracker, is Joshua secretly working on STD animator on STD? Anti-Tracker says, I need to pull that clip to the show, Joshua. You're welcome. I can send it to you, Anti-Tracker, if you want the, or I mean, I'm sure you have access to the episode as well, but I have it as a MPEG MP4 file. I can send it over to you. Dale Stratford says to Darth Calhoun, nope. Darth Calhoun says to Dale, what you got against the monarchy? Only legitimate form of government. John Meyer says, but gingers actually want to breed, so logic. Dale says, didn't you love when he said, okay, gently move us away from the Discovery? She touches a button and the warp core light up and the ship slowly lifts to starboard. Guess they are just rockets. Kennewick says, quantum warping space quantum. Dale says, Darth Calhoun says, agreed, but a stable one has lasted for actual 1,000-year reign. God save the Queen. And Anti-Tracker says, confirmed, Bird is xenophobic. You know what, Anti-Tracker, you're gonna get that. Section 31! To Section 31! What the fuck? Yeah. Section 31. When I could laugh at Star Trek Discovery instead of just cry. Dale says, You are thinking of third there. Second Reich formed on German unification. Canoic Sapien says the Spanish royalty in the 17th century were crazy inbred. I think all royalty were crazy inbred. And to be honest, I was going to read that as crazy in bed. That's how I read it first. Canoic Sapien says maybe 18th century. Charles X, I think it was, married to his first cousin. First cousin isn't even that terrible in terms of royalty inbrededness. Darth Calhoun says to Dale, Second Reich was Kaiserreich, and it was the best of the three, even though HRE lasted nearly a millennia. I have no idea. Canoic Sapien says Norman. Normad asked Dale. Canoic says Norman series, Trudy series, Annabelle series, a few others. Canoic says the second Mud episode out of Androids. And Dale says did same thing with Nomad. You are flawed. You are not perfect. Therefore, you must sanitize error. John DeMarco says logic is a little tweeting bird. And Landau. Yes, Landrew. How can you forget Landrew? Canoic Sapiens is on the Paramount Western set planet. Pike's code is beep, 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 beep. Oh my god. Dale is lolling. John Meyer says Pike's code is beep, 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 beep. Canoic Sapien says, I think writers messed up Cronwell's name. Someone was dyslexic, mixing Cornwall and Cornwell. Cromwell and Cromwell. Dale says, I call her Admiral Duchess of Cornwall. As in Camilla Parker Bowles. John Meyer says the Duchess of Cornhole is a whole other thing, probably to do with ship porn. Vile Mike, welcome Vile Mike. He says, howdy all. Dale says, sup. John Meyer says, damn the photon torpedoes, full impulse ahead. Dale Stratford says, flames shoot out the back of the warp nacelle rocket engines. I think I saw an early rendering of the Enterprise, TOS Enterprise, where they had the warp nacelles actually were just rockets with like rocket fire coming out the back of them. Rick Hell. Welcome, Rick. Constitution class Enterprise has 13 decks per memory alpha. Thank you, Rick. So 13 decks. Figuring 10 feet to a deck. Okay. Maybe 8 feet to a deck. 100 plus feet. That the saucer is 100 feet thick. Wait. Okay, no. That's 13 decks. That's for the entire ship. So then... Okay, the saucer section has to be at least, 2 decks? So still 20 feet. Dale says, that's right, JJ said he wanted to look like a hot rod. I'm surprised they didn't find a way to incorporate flames on the side of the hull. Darth Calhoun says, should I find you some white nationalists to come on? No thanks, Darth. If they don't find their way here, it's just not the same. Canoic Sapien says, Bird, are you aware that number 1 looks like she's been wanting to lick your left ear the whole stream? Am I aware of it? Why do you think she's there? Vile Mike says, he, come on, white national. Chief Cook says, hey guys, welcome Chief Cook. Canoic Sapien says, Celebration, Florida was where the Truman Show was filmed. Dale loves the Truman Show. Kennewick Sapien says a Disney subsidiary literally runs the town. Angela from The Office. I don't remember who told her something. She's like, when we moved, Andy. Andy was courting her. And said, we'd moved to Celebration Village, Disney Celebration Village. And Angela was like, I'd like that very much. Of course, she was banging Dwight. Vile Mike says, Bird, are you in live chat or top chat? I am in live chat. My mom reminded me. Kennewick Sapien says, yes, that would be a great Twilight Zone episode. I am skipping hellos and goodbyes and lols and stuff that don't really pertain to anything. Dale says, got him right between the eyes, lol. Kennewick says, that reminds me of Twilight Zone episode Simpsons Futurama parody of the evil madman destroying the tiny town. Yeah. Dale says, frack, he just went full Harry Truman on Anti-Trekker Island. Kennewick Sapien says, Cylon's nuking Qapla was a great scene. Multi-Gunman says, Bird's YouTube channel is the Fourth Reich. DJ Odyssey, damn you, DJ. Darth Calhoun says, the Second Reich will rise again once we sent the unsupportive boomers to the camps. I gotta read what I say before I say it. Vile Mike says, Harry only used 2. There was more than 2. Dale says to Darth Calhoun, that's nice. Boomers love to camp. Maybe they could recreate Woodstock for them too. Darth Calhoun says, the Prussian Germany shall rise again like the mighty phoenix. And it says, Darth Calhoun says, Bird of Prey, you are now featured channel on my channel page. Oh, thank you, Darth. And Dale said, I never brought that warp bubble thing. The Enterprise trip calls them engines, but you insist that they don't provide thrust. No, though the Kelvin clearly were used for thrust. Well, if they don't provide the thrust, what does? Damn you, DJ, yes. Kennewick Sapien says, Nazi women look good looking. I didn't. Did I say that? I did not say that. Not on this stream. Kennewick says, I may be misremembering the quote. Okay. I might have said something similar. But it certainly wasn't tonight. And I guess somebody got offended because I have a down vote. Oh well. You can't make an omelet without breaking a bunch of eggs. Thank you guys. I think I've ranted enough. I think I've ranted enough for tonight. I'm gonna call it a night. Look for a video tomorrow. I will do my best to get one out. Thank you guys again so much for coming. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and all those good things. And I don't know. Fight the power. Qapla. To better episodes. I don't know what to say anymore. Darth Calhoun will be streaming in about an hour. Very cool, Darth. I will. Well, it's 9:50. I don't know if I'll be up. Yeah, so I'm saying an hour from now will be almost 10 o'clock. I don't know if I'll be up, but if I am, Darth, I will stop by and say hello. Otherwise, I'll try to catch it tomorrow. Everybody, if you're at all interested in watching Darth Calhoun play some games, check out his stream, DJ Odyssey. He does some nice rant videos. Anyone else who's here that I'm forgetting about, check them out. Yeah. Anti-Tracker, he does some Borg videos or something, but he doesn't do them very often, so I don't know. You might want to maybe check him out, this guy Anti-Tracker, if you're interested. Qapla, good night. I'm out. Thank you all for watching my video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. If you want to visit me, check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Vile Mike. Go, hey, check out Vile Mike's channel, please. Yes, Vile Mike, I'm also subscribed to. Vile Mike, you can click on the dots and you can check out his channel.